Are you tired of constantly being nice to people, giving to people, doing nice things for people because it makes you feel very good? Because you cannot change yourself, you do not feel that nice helping yourself, and it requires a lot of effort. But at the same time, when you help another, you feel much, much better about yourself. So your entire external validation comes from the fact that you are helping other people. You guys need to learn how to be a little selfish. Yes, I said it, selfish. Everybody is like, oh, that is such a bad word, whatever. Listen. um, First of all, I want you guys to take that notion out of your head that it's a bad word. Okay. Listen, the argument that really did end up convincing me to become selfish, because I knew I had one friend, okay, that was constantly telling me being selfish is not bad, being selfish is not bad. I never listened to him for a very, very long time. Okay. And the argument I would constantly give would be, because helping other makes me feel good. So, and also, like, I believed a lot in karma. So, like, that if I'm doing something good, someday I'll receive it back. I would not honestly even be expecting good, but like when I had to, stand up for myself, then I would say this. But the argument that I really understood, that finally convinced me, was that all of us need a balance. Listen. So if there's like a scale, right? And this is a middle point. The middle point is the balance point, right? This side is for selfish, this side is for selfless, and this is the middle point. From some people naturally lie more on the selfish side, other people naturally lie more on the selfless side. For ones who are selfish, the world will tell you be selfless, put others first. For them, that's the right tip, because they're overly selfish. But for us who are overly selfless, we need to learn how to be selfish. It's about a balance. It's not about being selfish. No, you're not being like others. You're not, turning into a bad person. Listen, there's nothing wrong in putting yourself first. Hi guys, my name is Ophelia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you guys some tips to become a little more selfish, to enjoy your own company, to live up to your own expectations, and to become the best version of yourself. So keep watching. Okay, first of all, I want you guys to see yourself as a third person. Like literally, try to place yourself outside your body, right? And then look at yourself when you have a problem, right? When we have a problem, we tend to be very hard on ourselves. When we are crying, we tend to be hard on ourselves, right? That, oh, I should not be doing this, I should not be feeling this way. No, you're valid for feeling that way, but we generally can't give that love to ourselves. So what I did was, I would place myself outside my body, and then I would imagine like a really close friend of mine came to me crying and then telling me her problem. As a good friend, what would you do? Obviously, at first you'll console her. And when she finally, becomes a little more stable, then you'll try to give her some solutions. Or you'll try to give her comfort first and then solutions, right? Start seeing yourself as a third person if that makes you less hard on yourself. The second thing is, if you have a constant habit of depreciating yourself, of giving yourself bad comments, then this is a habit that typically develops unconsciously. I want you guys to track what you're saying. Understand when you're saying something that is not good about you. I remember the first time I realized that, oh, I say a lot of bad things about myself, I have a lot of self-doubt, was when somebody pointed it out to me that you're very hard on yourself. And I was like, huh? And then I realized it was because it was in a speech. I would say a lot of depreciating things to myself while talking to another person, while explaining them any topic, that yeah, this is how I feel about it, and yeah, though I may be wrong, and then I would continue, right? I would have a lot of these, though I may be wrong, I'm sorry if it's a silly question, but stop saying these. Stop saying too much sorry. Stop stop using these phrases that are like, which make no sense, honestly. Because when you say you're in a classroom and you raise your hand and you say, I'm sorry, I think it may be a silly question, but, and then you ask your question, the first thing that the person understands is, okay, this person herself thinks it's a silly question, it must be a silly question. Like, not consciously, but subconsciously, guys, that is what they think. I'm sorry to be so upfront with you, that is what they think. And no, it's not like, oh, you're not being honest, oh, you know you're not good, so you're just being honest. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Listen to me. There are two voices in your head, a good and a bad. If there are two of them, one of them is clearly not right. Just just remove it from your head. Just ignore it. Learn to ignore it. Track what you're saying. And then try to change it as well, because see, you might have insecurities, but do not show it to the world. Work on your insecurities in private. Stop seeking external validation. Listen, why do we need people? Why do we need friends? Why do we, fear being rejected by people? Because we seek external validation. But if you need validation, you can give that to yourself. You should not need external validation. You should want it, but you should not need it. Like, everybody likes to get a comment, so I would like to get compliments, right? I want compliments, but I don't need compliments. For example, it's not only when somebody tells me, oh, you're so intellectual, that I feel that I'm intellectual. I know I'm intellectual, okay? Like, obviously I appreciate that comment, but at the same time, I don't need it. I don't need somebody else's confirmation. It's a compliment, it's not a confirmation. So I really need you to understand that half the things you do are for validation. So if that is external validation, how can you internally validate yourself? So what I did was, I had two very close friends that time, right? They always told me, because I would get sad very often, and they knew how much I would indulge in self-loathing, but they could not really help me. So they said to me, you know what, whenever you have these thoughts, come to us and we will tell you the exact opposite of whatever your head is saying to you. And I would go to these people to listen. No, you're not a bad person. No, you're not being selfish, etc. But one day I started crying. Literally, I was crying because of these thoughts in my head, because the voice in my head would not stop. But then I was like, no, I do not want to go to these people. These people are also busy. These people also have their own lives. And that's the thing. People cannot be available for you every time. And same for you, by the way. That's another tip. Do not be available for anyone 24/7. If you're busy, first do your work, then go there. When your own cup is full, then only pour it into another's. Right? So, like I was saying, when you attach your validation to something like that, people, it's not because they don't want to help you, but sometimes they don't even have energy for themselves. You know what I'm saying, right? So I really said to myself, no, I will give myself that validation. I literally went in front of the mirror and I said all the things to myself that I wanted to hear from anybody. I said all those things to myself. And another thing that you might do is, when you are in a stable state of mind, record a video of yourself saying nice things to yourself. And whenever you're sad, just remind yourself, watch this video. Listen, it's very difficult to remember all these things about self-development we hear when we are sad, when we are thinking emotionally. But what you can remember is, watch a video. That is literally 3 words. You can remember 3 words, I'm sure. Right? So make videos for yourself, address yourselves, write letters to yourselves. um, if you want to go out but your friends are not available, go out with yourself, you know, do things with yourself, spend alone time productively, realize the difference between what you want to hear and what you need to hear. Like when I make videos for myself, right, sometimes I am, well, I'm just lazy, so I need somebody to, you know, shout at me and tell me, come on, get up, you can do better, you can, like, also motivate me, but at the same time have a firm tone, you know. But when I'm really in a state of like really sad, then I need someone to tell me it's fine, it's okay, we'll get through this together, you know, like in a gentle way, right? So understand what you need at those times specifically. Like at the moment you cannot decide what you need because obviously your thoughts are cluttered, you're crying, you're thinking emotionally, not rationally, and that's the problem. So plan in advance. Sometimes give yourself reality checks in videos. Like it's not always I need validation or it's not always I need truth. Sometimes it's a balance of both. Compliment yourself in front of the mirror. Please, the people who say, oh, this is narcissistic, whatever, no, it's not. It's really not. Um, like, really, every morning you wake up, just say, you're wonderful, you're amazing, you're brilliant. It really makes an impact. Chances are that if you lack self love, you are also very low on confidence. So a few people who I suggested this to were literally like, oh, it's just so embarrassing, oh, I just feel so weird looking at myself in the eyes in the mirror. For that, if you guys like feel very weird, sometimes, you know, at the starting at least, like imagine your, let's say you have a very strong imagination power, so just imagine like you're speaking to an audience or like speaking to another person while looking at yourself in the mirror on the spot, right? You have to try this, it works, I promise. Self love affirmations. Listen, affirmations can literally change your life. I am not even kidding. Just go on YouTube and search self love affirmations, find one, listen to it daily for 20 to 30 days. You will really feel like a change in yourself. Or, like, there are some people who are, well, simply too lazy to do it. Another thing that I recommend is, you know, finding an app. Like, I have this app called I Am, and it recommends me affirmations every day. Like, it sends me notifications every time. This really helps. You guys deserve so much appreciation that you do not get out there in the world. Sadly, because people, everybody is focused on becoming the best version of themselves. Sometimes they don't even have energy for themselves, so they cannot give you that appreciation, or maybe you're just in the wrong environment. So, what you do is you get that appreciation that you truly deserve by giving yourself 10 to 15 minutes of the day to these affirmations that really tell you, yes, you are amazing. Wouldn't it be nice, you know, to listen to these every day? And then I have these people who are like always, no, that's just tricking your mind into believing something that's not real. Listen, there, the human brain intakes, I think, only 10% of what's there in your surroundings, and in those 10%, do you really think you can get the total essence of what's out there in the world? Can you? I mean, your brain would literally explode if that was the case. Well, that is not the case. So it's like you are getting to choose what you intake, and you're taking in only the bad things. Congratulations, very smart. Besides, the world is constantly looking down on you anyway. So why not make it a little easier for yourself? Because the world is misleading you anyway. So it's better to be misled by positive things than negative things, you guys. I'm sorry if I sound like kind of firm or something, but You know what, I really remember when I was like this, and I really feel bad whenever I look back, and I really feel like, whoa, why did I let myself go through that? I want you guys to see your worth. You guys are gold. Gold. Even more valuable than gold. Play inspirational songs for yourself every morning. Just stop listening to sad music just because you resonate with it, okay? I had a lot of creative ways of venting, of letting out my emotions, because I did not have, at the starting at least, a lot of people to listen to me, right? So I used to edit videos on music, right? I used to make music videos, and then most of the music that I choose would be sad, because that was what I resonated with. That was what helped me let out those emotions, right? But I really think music really makes you wallow in your feelings. And looking back, I don't think I should have done that. Like, it was good sometimes, but constantly listening to sad music is not helping. It's not helping, okay? Start listening to inspirational music, positive music. A few ones that I can remember at the moment are, well, Hall of Fame, That's My Girl, Just Like Fire. There are so many of these songs. Just look up inspirational songs and listen to them every single morning, and you'll realize that they will fill you with some sort of motivation, some sort of fire. Like, at least if you are in the phase of, I don't have the energy to do anything although I want to, this music really helps. Redefine alone. You are not alone. You are never alone. First of all, you guys have to understand that you always have yourself. You always have yourself. You are really not lonely if you have yourself and you're in sync with yourself. And even the universe or the God is always with you. They're always with you. You ask them for something, they'll give you. Literally, one day I was on the bus and I'd got this tip somewhere. I'd heard this, and she basically said, um, if you really want guidance, ask the universe to give you a sign if they're really, looking for you. And at that time, I was not really sure I believed in God or the universe. I was never really like that. I was more of a rational person, right? So I asked the universe, so show me a silver coin, in case they really did believe me. And this is what I said out loud, but in my head I also added, you know what, let me make it more specific, make it a 5 rupee silver coin, right? And I'd said this in the morning, this thing I'd requested for. And when I reached home, my friend had sent me this meme, which basically had like two coins on it. It did not have a 5 rupee silver coin, but it did have like a 1 rupee silver coin. And like, in the country that I live in, the 1 rupee silver coins, there's a thumbs up symbol on it. So, like, although it said, to the universe that if you're guiding me, show me a 5 rupee silver coin, in my head, unconsciously, was actually, is anybody even listening? Are you even there? You know? So, the question in my head was, is the universe really guiding me? And the universe said, the universe gave me a thumbs up. Yes, I am guiding you. And when I saw that thumbs up, I really felt like I resonated more than I would have with like a 5 rupee coin. Honestly, I'm not even joking with you. This happened. Honestly. So yeah, the universe, God is always looking out for you. Be in sync with yourself. You are not lonely. You are always with yourself. Just say whenever you feel lonely, hey, I have me. What am I doing? I have me. And look at how interesting of a person you are. Like, honestly, I can tell you 10 things about myself that are so different from other people and that make me so, so interesting. I am my best friend. And also, realize that there's a difference between lonely and alone. Alone is literally not being surrounded by anyone, literally being alone in your room. And that is all obviously a choice, because there are so many people in the world. You can find anyone, you can go up to anyone and start a conversation on the streets. In loneliness, even when you're surrounded by a lot of people, you do not feel connected to anyone, even when you talk with them. So, just because you're lonely doesn't mean you have to be alone. Start talking to random strangers. If you don't have friends, start talking to any person on the street. I promise you, this helps. Like, honestly, if some people tell me this is so weird, oh, I cannot do this. Listen, if you want some sort of a roadmap, and I explained this in my last few videos as well. If the person is reading a book, right, then if you know the book, then cool. If you don't, then pass a comment on the book. Hey, what book are you reading? And then get to know the genre, and then if you what books from that genre have you read, what are your views on that genre. It can go anywhere. Try to find a common ground with that person, and then just continue the conversation. You can also try a group, you can try online chats as well, but I would really recommend in real life more. At least socialize once in the day. Even if you have mastered enjoying your own company, do socialize at least once in the day, because we as humans, we are social creatures. No man is an island. This is a phrase I read, and this is so true. If you find yourself being really, really productive every day, but still you have this thing of like, you do not love yourself, because a lot of people that don't love themselves, self-love comes from self-confidence. Self-confidence comes when you do things. And a lot of people tell me, yeah, I do things, but still I don't have the confidence. It may be because you're not doing things for yourself, but for somebody else. For, say, a system, maybe your parents, your friends, I don't know, whoever. But point is, that means you're not doing those things for yourself. That's not what you wish to do. And if that's the case, maybe you know who you're doing things for, or sometimes you're not even obliged to do it, but still you find yourself doing it. Okay, then you need to know yourself better. You really need to work on self-awareness. What truly makes you happy? You need to understand that. You need to understand the difference between your needs and your wants. Basically, wants are your comfort zone, and needs are what give you happiness. I'll try to explain you. Comfort is when you don't wish to change. Literally, you always want to be like in the same position. Say you want to live the everyday life, but what truly makes us happy is a good balance of both change and everyday life. If you are, say, on your phone constantly the entire day, and it's evening now and you haven't even left your bed, you don't want to get out of there, but you need to get out of there. Needs represent your happiness, wants represent temporary satisfaction. They represent your comfort zone. Try to find out your comfort zone, your wants, your needs, what truly makes you happy. If you know yourself, but still you're not happy, that simply means you're not taking the steps to do it. Just do it. Just start. Just start. Sometimes we need a plan to start, but sometimes the plan just starts falling into place as you start. You don't always need to have a set plan. You don't. Just start. You guys are too afraid of what will happen. And you know what? You're so afraid of failing that you're not even trying things in the first place. And honestly, that is worse. That is so much worse. I would much rather fail 1,000 times than to lose a chance at ever trying something new. And please avoid the external validation. If people are saying bad things about you, listen, they are not you. They cannot define your happiness. True happiness comes from within, not any external source. External sources can only give you temporary satisfaction. What comes from within is true happiness. Knowing yourself is true happiness. Try to find out what qualities the best version of you would like to have. Like, how we design a home. We look at pictures on, say, Pinterest for inspiration, right? That's how. Just look at people and see what quality in this person would I want in myself. Would I want more confidence in myself? Write that down. List all these properties. what would the best version of you be like? And then try to just pretend to be that version for at least like 1 to 2 hours a day. Just 1 to 2 hours. If you act like something, you'll become it, like obviously. And like also take the steps to get there, because if you don't know what the ideal version of you looks like, how will you work towards that, right? It's like, I have a painting I always wanted to make, but I don't even know what that painting looks like. How will you create a masterpiece if you don't have even a visualization, so to say, right? Don't always do the same things when you're by yourself. Listen, alone time is very important, but try to always change things up, because we as humans, we naturally tend to get bored. But you cannot afford to be bored with yourself, like honestly you can't. um because you are like your constant companion, right? So keep changing up things once in a while. um Keep trying new things, sometimes stay inside, like find a balance. Never put off self care. Listen, if there was a friend who always told you, um yeah, we'll go to the movies at this time tomorrow, but they never show up on time, you will lose confidence in that person, and then you would naturally not want to hang out with that person, or you'll try to avoid having plans with this person, because that person has let you down continuously like 5 to 6 times, and now you're just annoyed. It's the same with yourself. Self care is your priority. It's your priority, and you need to take accountability for it. You are your best friend, so if you put off self-care once, you will lose confidence in yourself, and then you will simply not like yourself any longer. Prioritize yourself. Always put yourself first. I have said this before multiple times, but in this step I want to emphasize not idealizing people, because sometimes what we tend to do as humans is we tend to put people on pedestals. We tend to make fantasies regarding the person, but really look at the person, him or herself, and like just understand that they're also people. They may just have qualities you don't, but at the end of the day they are people. But the reason you idolize these people is because you respect these people, like in some way. I feel a lot of times that I idolize people, it's because I respect them. So at the same time, respect yourself. Love does come, but first comes respect. For me personally, I've always felt love stem from respect. And obviously, when you respect yourself, you will automatically prioritize yourself, because you give a person their time when you respect them. It's the same with you. Journaling, meditation, self therapy. Journaling, very good for self awareness. You should definitely try it, because I really think self awareness is the key in self development. Meditation, if you are a person who overthinks, then meditation is highly recommended. It helps you get more in sync with your unconscious mind, become calmer, etc. Self therapy. Okay, what do I mean by self therapy? Um, Listen, some people have asked me. I have this urge to want to see a therapist, but they're not old enough, their family circumstances don't allow them just yet, or they just cannot afford a therapist. Um, and then I started thinking, why did I never feel this way when I was going through something, that I need therapy? Because now I realize I always knew one thing: therapy is not something out of the blue. They don't like whip up a magic wand and for you to feel better. It's not like that. It's really not like that. I always knew that I can give myself the therapy. Be your own best therapist. Take your own advices sometimes. Schedule your own therapy sessions. Self talk is therapy. Self talk is therapy. Talk to yourself. Like, I don't feel like I can do this, but you did this before. Come on, you did this before. It's like, having a battle with a good voice and a bad voice. Like, just say them out loud. Write it or say it out loud. I felt really weird, saying it out loud at first. So, not going to lie, I literally tried like chatting with myself, like if one was my good voice, one was my bad voice. Literally I did this. I literally chatted with myself, but now I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it, because I started somewhere. and scheduling your own therapy sessions. I'll get into that in a lot more detail in another video. I've also written articles on these things, so do check them out. There's a link in the description. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye bye.